Can
I
we
got to,
just keep it light? That's all I ask. That is
oh yeah,
all I ask.
gotta keep it light. Yeah, I have that Sagittarius moon, makes me all whimsical. I
Can we
got to,
just keep it light?
there we go. We are live on YouTube. Look at how cute we are. Oh my goodness, don't I love us? We are just so adorable.
It's your cheek.
That's what, the uh they John had asked me to do the meditation of for the program on Sunday. And so I did a meditation. I practiced this meditation and did uh I just was inspired to do it, and it really, oh my God, it blew me away because the inspiration was to lay in the tomb with Jesus. And just, and the whole thing was, I mean, the way I did it, I have these oils and I anointed myself with oil. I wrap myself as if I were like kind of in a shroud and just laid down and uh, envision myself in the body of Jesus, laying in that cool and quiet place after all that turmoil during the day, and just laying there, and all the angels coming in and their light beginning to glow and to fill the whole tomb with light, and to feel the light grow from within the center of my being, and to grow until I was completely filled with light and burst out of this form and stood looking down at the linens. I mean, that was my whole vision, and it was pretty amazing. It was a pretty amazing thing. So I did a meditation of that on Sunday, but it didn't get recorded. So um, there's a reason for all of that. Anywho,
So that we could do it again.
yeah, so that we could do it again.
Yeah.
I love to do those kind of meditations. Excuse me. All right. Chapter 15, Section 4, Practicing the Holy Instant. Sort of reminds me of practicing the presence, which we did with Gloria and with Joel Goldsmith. Who would like to read paragraph 1?
I'll go ahead and read. This course is not beyond immediate learning unless you believe that what God wills takes time. And that's a key part for me because I believe things have to take time. And so I need to revise that thought. So I'm going to say that again. This course is not beyond immediate learning unless you believe that what God wills takes time. And this means only that you would rather delay the recognition that His will is so. The holy instant is this instant and every instant. The one you want to be, the one you want it to be, it is. The one you would not have it be is lost to you. You must decide when it is. Delay it not. And that's one of those great 3-word sentences that Dove loves so much. So let's make note of this one. Delay it not. For beyond the past and future, where you will not find it, it stands in shimmering readiness for your acceptance. You cannot bring it into glad awareness while you do not want it, for it holds the whole release from littleness. And that's, you know, this is such important stuff because it's only our thoughts about when something can happen that hold us back. It's only our thoughts that there is time, that time is linear, that hold us back. It's only our thoughts, period, in the first place that take us out of the holy instant. And it's only our thoughts about it that prejudices us against experiencing it. The one you want it to be, it is. That's another one of those short sentences. I have a feeling this whole um, section is going to have a bunch of those. The holy instant is this instant and every instant. And, we keep thinking that it's our thinking. I can't stress that enough. It's our thinking that is doing all of this to us. So, it, yeah, I just recently started meditating again. When I'm not feeling well, I feel like I I can't I can't do it because I can't concentrate or whatever, and it works like a vicious circle. You think that, you know, you, you can't heal because you're sick, and you're sick because you can't heal, and you can't meditate because you don't feel well, but you're not going to feel well unless you start again. It's all those things. It's the same thing. You cannot practice the holy instant by thinking it's going to take time or that it's in some other time. So I will pass to whoever wants to say anything else about this.
Wow, yeah. Thank you for that so much, Mickey, because that's exactly what it is. We're putting it off. Even though we could have it right now, we're putting it off and thinking that, in the future, I used to say that all the time. In the future, when I accept the atonement, like thinking that was a goal of some sort that was going to happen at some moment later on. And, what he's telling us is that it's this moment now. There's no future, and there's no worrying, when this is going to happen. This is happening right this instant. And it's my choice every instant as to whether or not I accept it. So, yeah, and that's it. It stands in shimmering readiness for your acceptance. Yet you cannot bring it into glad awareness while you do not want it, for it holds the whole release from littleness. It's that is the key to it right there. Do I really want it? And you know, obviously, if I did, this is the sad part. If I did, I would have it. So because I have it already. Oh my God, it cracks me up. Okay, Mickey, please go ahead.
I this is how much fear the ego has of this, because there was something you said when you were just talking. I can't remember exactly what you said, but it's here right now if we accept it. And I got a chill running through my body of fear, almost some sort of weird feeling that was like, no, don't do it now. No, you could do it in a half an hour, but not right now. And there was just this physical reaction inside of me that got scared a little bit. I don't know. I don't know what emotion was attached to it, but this shivering chill ran through my body. So talk about resistance, you know.
That's
Dang,
yeah, yeah.
that was creepy.
Yeah, and it is because yeah, ego knows exactly what this means. You can't fool it. It knows exactly what this means. And then that's why I remember I was talking about when I was going up to take those nonviolent communication classes, and I would get just like I would be shaking. I would be just so nervous, so afraid, so upset. For what? Because ego absolutely knew that when I got there and we started working, it it could play no tricks. There were no tricks available to it. It could only just, be there and be called out. And so, That's really all Jesus is telling us, this is you're calling out the reality of what you are. And you're you're likely to be proven wrong, eventually proven wrong. So Sharon, please go ahead.
I just don't think we would be here in physical form if we weren't still scared. I mean, it just seems to me like when I'm in the presence, and I'm in presence quite a bit, and then there's a distraction, and I go after the distraction. And I realize that that's my belief still in the body and me being a human. So, the whole point is to look and not judge it. And that practice is what I've been doing. Like, where am I? I ask, where am I? And that pulls me out of the unconscious because, I don't sometimes realize that I have fallen back. I'm in my dream and the mind's just telling itself stories. So I don't think any of us are without fear, but we don't always feel it. And that's good too, because I don't think any of us love that feeling. But yeah, Mickey, you're not alone. We all do it. We all do it.
Yeah, and that question, where am I, is so relevant, Sharon, um, because it puts you back to the realm of the observer. When I start asking, where am I, and realize, oh, I'm here watching this happening. I'm here making up a story about what's happening. I'm here making an opinion about what's happening, but I'm not where that's happening. I'm just watching it from another place. And where is that place? Where am I? Where is this place where I am? Um, yeah, it's really a trip.
Or
So
not doing the lessons. I mean, Ken has always said that that a great course student is one that admits that they don't do the lessons right. Because none of us really, on a subconscious level, want this because we still believe in our separate selves. So that's the work. Just to keep watching, looking,
yeah,
and to be aware of judgment because oh, I fell back in the ego again. That's what the ego says to itself. No, you didn't. You can't fall back into the ego because you're not the ego. You are the observer, and the observer and the observed are the same. There's just one.
yeah.
That's what's beautiful about it. There's nothing special here. No one's special.
No, no, in fact, we're all
Which
the
I did that.
same.
I made people special for a very long time.
Yeah. But we're not, and
Yeah,
nobody is, and that's what we have to recognize, that everybody is.
everybody's special.
That's the other side of it. We're all the same. So everybody is holy.
Right.
Everybody is the Christ. Everyone is the love. There isn't a single being in this universe that is not that. And so, this is where, my quote unquote fall down is when I start looking and saying, oh, well, you're not the Christ. You're not acting like any Christ I ever saw. You know,
Right.
remember Jesus? Remember what he did? Are you doing that? Nope, you're wrong. Uh,
He got a part in the play too. It was perfect. He was
yeah,
going to somebody. The perfection that Jesus had is what source shows us. But do we get there? Who cares? It's all the same anyway. We're not there.
that's
So,
right. We're here in
right.
this only instant, this only place. And any place else that we imagine is imaginary. It has no real reality. There is no meaning. If I'm not thinking with God, I'm not thinking at all. My mind is blank. And that's about what we're doing, is going along with our blank minds, knowing nothing. But
That
that's the best
how
place to
about
be.
it? Like when I say I know nothing, now I really get it that I know nothing. But there
Yeah,
was years that I just found it so difficult. You can't rush this process because it's going by itself. So.
yeah, exactly. So, okay, let's look at paragraph 2. Who would like to read paragraph 2 of practicing the holy instant?
Marcy, you
I
want to
can
just take turns going back? Oh, Sharon, you want to? I thought you were tired.
No, I can do it.
Go
But
ahead.
your practice must therefore rest upon your willingness to let go Let all littleness go. The instant in which magnitude dawns upon you is but as far away as your desire for it. As long as you desire it not and cherish littleness instead, by so much is it far from you. By so much as you want it, will you bring it nearer. Think not that you can find salvation in your own way and have it. Give over every plan you have made for your salvation in exchange for God's. His will content you, and nothing can bring you peace, for peace is of God and no one beside him. And it's such certainty in this, like, and yeah, there's an addicted. Well, this last couple of days, I have been really noticing that none of this, when I don't want it, when I want to just engage in the world, I end up feeling empty after. I don't feel the same. I feel like I just ate a cheesecake or something too sweet, even though I love cheesecake. It's kind of like to stay in the minutia of it all is just staying in nothing because we're not thinking, we're just not working our process. But again, we are working because Source is doing all of it. So, it's all God. And that, for pieces of God, that's the only piece. We just to remember God is all there is. So I feel like littleness is something that starts to dissipate as we go deeper and deeper. And as we're going deeper, because there are layers of this, and the layers come off, and then we find another layer. And humility is everything. To say, I really don't know how to get there, because we don't. I mean, I could never have done anything with the shifts that have taken place, but they're happening by itself. And I just feel like, the song From a Distance by Bette Midler, we are the instruments for the divine. We are walking together. And, we can't know what any of this even means, because in the end, if I even have one story, then I'm still back in the story. So my goal is to just let it all go as much as I can, But the addiction to politics seems to have left me in the last couple of weeks. And that happened organically because Sharon is a drama addict. She likes drama. She likes to, what's going to happen? Well, guess what? Nothing. It appears like there is. Now, not to say I don't have opinions, but to stay in littleness is to believe that everything I went through was true. All I did was just have this character that's talking through me right now, this little girl character, or whatever you want to call her, just playing a part. And I always thought, like, 70 years, I'm so old. There's nothing about age that even is real. It's only now. So that I don't know either. And the less I know, the better I feel. So that's all. Thanks. Anybody else want to share?
Yeah, I see Marcy has her hand up. Thank you, Sharon. Yeah, and isn't it that the opinions are illusions? All my opinions are illusions.
Right.
They're just stories I made up. Go ahead, Marcy.
Well, speaking of songs, since Sharon mentioned one, I will mention Let It Go from Frozen. I remember taking my daughter to see Frozen. You could probably cue that up, right, Lynn?
I could, absolutely. It's one of my favorites as well. I love that.
But your practice was therefore rest upon your willingness to let it go. It is ego. So when will I remember that? Because that song has stuck in my head for years. I've got to give it that association.
That song, like, let it go, let it go. Yeah, I play that a lot with my little art people that come to me, and they just love it. And I just say, yep. And if you watch Wizard, what's it? Wicked. In Wicked, so many things. Consciousness is actually talking to itself. Consciousness is saying, that this is meaningless, this life. It's just life. Just live it, because that's what it really is. You could say it's just God or just life, living through everything. It's beautiful.
I love it. Yeah. Anybody else have anything that they'd like to share? Um, And yeah, that's what I was talking in my long soliloquy before about, is that willingness to let all littleness go, that willingness to give up this personality that I think I am, that I cherish. He talks about it, we cherish this. I cherish this being. I cherish this, mom and her little family, and I cherish this person, this loving Lynn who is tries to be so kind and nice. I cherish all that. So, that's we got to let go too. Because even that, as much as that may seem like love, is nothing compared to the real reality of love. And so, stop thinking that I know, and just let it go, let it go, let it go. I love that. All right, who wants to read paragraph 3?
I can read.
Recycling. Marcy?
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay.
Be humble before him and yet great in him, and value no plan of the ego before the plan of God. For you leave empty your place in his plan, which you must fill if you would join with me by your decision to join in any plan but his. I call you to fulfill your holy part in the plan that he has given to the world for its release from littleness. God would have his host abide in perfect freedom. Every allegiance to a plan of salvation apart from him diminishes the value of his will for you in your own mind. And yet it is your mind that is the host to him. And I humbly have nothing to say to that. I'm just trying to listen.
Mickey, please go. Thank you, Marcy. Mickey, please go ahead.
Thanks, Marcy. The line that really draws me in is the first sentence: be humble before him, yet great in him. And we forget that all the time. When we think we're separate and we hold on to this identity, we forget we're in him, and yes, is he greater than we are? Therefore, we're humble before him, sure. But we still have to remember that we need to, and that's the whole magnitude part of it in, littleness versus magnitude. We forget how magnificent we are in him, and we have to stop valuing. I like the second sentence too. We have to stop valuing any plan the ego has. We have to stop believing it. We have to stop valuing it. We have to stop investing in anything having to do with this identity, because it's just stopping us from realizing what and who we really are. Leave the empty place, you know, leave the empty place that the ego carved out for us, and realize the magnitude that is the Son of God, that is the one Son. We think we're little because we think we're separate and we're walled off in these bodies. And we forget that we can burst out through the imaginary shell of the body into the magnitude that is part of everything. And we're that also. We love saying, oh, God is in everything. Excuse me. God's in everything. we forget that so are we. Because if we're in God, then we're also part of everything. And we want to be little. We want to be a body. We want to be this personality. What a crock of crap. You gotta laugh. You really do. That we think we're this little. And the last sentence, the last couple of sentences too. Every allegiance to a plan of salvation that is apart from the magnitude of God diminishes the value of his will for us. That we're, as long as we're thinking we're little, and yet it is your mind that is the host to him. He's host to us, we're host to him. There is nothing but that magnitude. And we're as much of it, a part of it as God is. Thanks.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Mickey. Yeah. So clear, so beautiful. Thank you so much. And that's it cracked me up because really what the ego is saying, you're not all that, but I am. The ego's telling me, oh, you're not all that. But from ego's point of view, I am everything. So then this is how confused we are. We know how great we are. We know how grand we are. We know how connected we are to the Holy Spirit. And yet we pretend that we're not, that we're weak and small and helpless. Uh, and I mean, that's the big conflict, right? Is, we think we're one, we really are, um, we are the mind that's the host to God, and we are the mind that is in God. And I love he says we're leaving empty our place in the plan. When I'm out here making my own plan, I'm leaving my place in the plan empty. There's a hole in it. So he's saying, I want you to fulfill your holy part, fill the hole. Fill the hole that you made in the plan of God by doing what you're here to do. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to share about this paragraph? Okay, Mickey, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing in that whatever just came through that I was saying, which I, I the whole time I was talking, I was thinking, Mickey, why aren't you believing what you're saying? Why aren't you acting like you really believe the words that are coming out of your mouth? It's phenomenal how much, like I can even say this stuff and still feel little. It just blows my mind. There's got to be a point at which we can break through that nonsense. There's got to be. I really believe there is. I'm just waiting for it to happen.
That
Thanks.
there is, and it's like we're brainwashed, right? It's like we've been brainwashed into seeing ourselves in a way that is other than reality. And,
Confined and little and stupid, It's like, what?
and it just blows me away because we read this book and it tells me, you're the Holy Son of God Himself. You are complete and healed. You are beautiful. You are wonderful. And I'm like, yeah, no, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Because the one that's saying all that, yeah, no, is the person who believes there's still some improvement that can be made And that's a slap in the face to God, isn't it? Saying, well, yeah, you did a pretty good job here, but I'm going to improve it a little bit because I think I should look like this, or I think this should be like this, or, I think the world should be, you know, th- there's no way that we can improve on perfection. And yet the ego is just uh, s so reluctant to accept what's perfect as being perfect, because then that would mean it had nothing to do. It can't improve it. And that's, the ego's main function is make you better, give you more. Oh man, Marcy, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I have to laugh because I start off the day thinking, yeah, I do this course. And I get outside. My daughter actually is on time, or actually she was early today, so I drove her to school. And I mean, I just went around the block. I was gonna make a turn on the light, and somebody's honking at me, and I'm like, well, I'm waiting for these pedestrians. Like, and I was peaceful just waiting, and then I got honked at, and then I get reminded I'm in a car, and that's how the whole accident thing started. So, so I think I did grumble a little bit, and then after that happened, I said a few things about the gentleman behind me. Apparently, I swore, and I said to my daughter, I said, I did real good. I didn't even swear. It's like, Mom. And then I remembered the words that I said. And I'm like, yeah, those are holy words.
That's funny.
It was so vicious, you know? It just bursts out.
Yep,
So I am kind of I am now okay with talking to myself because I have to sometimes correct things and I want to hear them be corrected. Like, oh yeah, that's not really who you are. It's okay. I know you slipped. You can, and I don't even know how Keith says it, but you can stay here, anger, for as long as you want. But I'm not going to use you for ego purposes.
oh,
You
that's
can
awesome.
you
Yeah,
can sit with me. We'll be here together. I'll acknowledge that you're in there still, but I'm not gonna go into the whole. I did just go into the story, but it feels better to tell the story and confess, you know that I probably will do that again and again and again till I don't. Till I am not doing anything because I'm the one that's in the way.
exactly, exactly. And how many times we're being just told, step back, get out of the way. That's all we need to do. But
Yes, I
yeah,
will be looking up how many times let go is in the course.
yeah, I think it's a lot. And acceptance is a
Oh,
big one too.
acceptance. Yeah.
Yeah, but never surrender. So I, th I think John Mundy pointed that out one day, that the word surrender is not in the course. But
Hmm.
and that makes sense, because surrender would mean that you think you're under attack, and acceptance is, or letting go is is my choice. I'm doing it. Okay, let's look at paragraph 4. Is that who is that? Mickey that's up for 4? Or whoever would like to read.
I can read again.
Okay.
Would you learn how perfect and immaculate is the holy altar on which your Father has placed himself? This you will recognize in the holy instant in which you willingly and gladly give over every plan but his. For there lies peace, perfectly clear because you have been willing to meet its conditions. You can claim the holy instant anytime and anywhere you want it. In your practice, try to give over. Notice the ego changing the words again. Give over every plan you have accepted for finding magnitude and littleness. It is not there. Use the holy instant only to recognize that you alone cannot know where it is and can only deceive yourself.
So do you have any thoughts about that, or does anybody have any thoughts?
I'm just reading it again because I feel like I
Why
didn't
don't you
get.
read it again?
Oh, okay. Alrighty. I didn't feel like I really took it in
If
that
if
first
it's
time.
helpful for you, it's helpful for me. So
Okie dokie. Would you learn how perfect and immaculate is the holy altar on which your Father has placed himself? Now, that one tripped me up because what is the altar that on which God has placed himself? Is it in me?
it's in me. It's the holy altar that's within.
Okay. Holy altar on which your Father has placed himself. So I guess we're to be as holy as God because the altar is in both of us. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
This you will recognize in the holy instant in which you willingly and gladly give over every plan but his. Now that one I get because that's my specialty is thinking I've got a plan. That the holy instant I'm only going to recognize how holy everything is in God and in the one Son when I give up all of my little plans and recognize that in that holy instant that I need to give over every plan but his. For there lies peace in that holy instant, perfectly clear, because you have been willing to meet its conditions. And the conditions of the holy instant are that I give up all those other plans and all those instants that I think are mine. You can claim the holy instant anytime and anywhere you want it. In your practice, try to give over every plan you have. I just lost my place. In your practice, try to give over every plan you have accepted for finding magnitude in littleness. And here's another one of those little sentences. It is not there. Magnitude cannot be found in littleness. Magnitude cannot be found in this identity or this personality. Magnitude can only be found when I go through the shell of the personality into the oneness. Use the holy instant only to recognize that you alone cannot know, that I, alone in my shell of personality and identity, cannot know where it is and can only deceive myself if I think it's anywhere in what I think I am as a body and a personality and an identity. Okay, I think I got it now. Thanks.
Thank you. Isn't that fun to just be able to go back through and pick it out and figure it out?
I
And
love that. That's why I love this group so much is because we do that. Is because we take the time to really understand what the heck it is we're reading.
it makes it so much easier. Because otherwise it's just words that flow by, and they may sound beautiful, but to have it actually be telling you this is what you're doing, this is who you are, this is what you're doing, and this is why you don't see yourself as the truth of what you are. Um, it's is that idea that I'm not worthy, right? It's that unworthiness that I believe that, even though he's telling me you're perfect and immaculate, um, God has placed himself within you. Once you recognize that God's within me, then every plan that he has is a plan that I need. And my plans, my stories, my things I make up have no meaning at all. Uh, so, the peace, for there lies peace, perfectly clear, peace, perfectly clear. And isn't that really what we want? Isn't that what you want? Isn't that what everybody wants? Talk to anybody, and whatever the outcome of any conversation, if you're talking about what is it that you really want, people just want to feel comfortable. They want to be at peace. They want to be satisfied. They don't want to be afraid. They don't want to be uh, uh, you know lose or think that they are missing something. They want to be in joy. So that's what we're here for. And that's what claiming the holy instant does. It brings you into just total joy because there's no more conflict, nothing to fear. And I understand perfectly why people become addicted to drugs or alcohol, because there is a certain sense of happiness that comes about when you're in that drunk place or that high place. There's a sense of comfort and like I belong here. But the problem with it is that I have to go back and keep getting more and more in order to maintain that feeling. So what he's talking about is this is the feeling that comes from within. This is the feeling that comes within when you recognize yourself as the holy being that you are, and that the Holy Christ is within you. It's such a gift. Um, Anybody else have anything on paragraph 4? Kind of scoot through there. I'm still planning all the time. Planning, 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 but nothing to plan because everything is already done. Who would like to read paragraph 5? Is it Mickey's turn? No, you just read that last paragraph. But you could read this or either one, anyone.
I can read it.
Thank you.
I stand within the holy instant, as clear as you would have me, and the extent to which you learn to accept me is the measure of the time in which the holy instant will be yours. I call to you to make the holy instant yours at once, for the release from littleness in the mind of the host of God depends on willingness and not on time. Actually, it might have been a little louder, like I call you to make the holy instant yours at once. Because we're so little in our minds that we can't even take it in. No, he means now.
And can you do it? I mean, Jesus seems to think we can do it.
He does. But then he also calls us ridiculous at times.
Well, yeah, because we're not doing it, because we're choosing not to do it. And he knows that we're going to choose not to do it. So, here's the deal, it's a choice. It's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. Mickey, please go ahead.
So in Ken's talk this morning, he said, nowhere in the Course does Jesus call us adults. We are always children. And this is why, because we're toddlers. We are toddlers here. We keep thinking, I want it thus, and if I don't get my way, I am going to throw a little tantrum. but there's Jesus. And I had this vision a couple of months ago. I was doing a meditation, and it was something Keith had recommended, that had something to do with expanding your vision, or just letting your vision soften. And and while I was thinking of that, I had my eyes closed, but I was no, I had my eyes open, and I was looking at what I was seeing, but then I let my focus go really soft and kind of spread out, and all of a sudden everything turned into this soft focus grayish cloud that expanded out. And I'm going to guess that at that point I was in a holy instant. And here's Jesus saying, I stand within the holy instant, as clear as you would have me. If you want to step into that holy instant, I'll be here. I am here to the extent to which you'll accept this and be in it with me. This holy instant can be yours. You just have to come into where I'm standing. And I'm calling to you to make it yours. And you can do it as soon as you stop being little about this. So that's what that's saying to me.
Yeah, thank you for that, all of that. And I think it's interesting. Yeah, he doesn't call us adults, but he tells us we're just like him. And he tells us that we can do what he did. And he doesn't expect that we're going to just keep going through the course year after year saying, but I'm just a baby. I can't do this. I don't know how. Help me, help me. He wouldn't be giving us these instructions if he didn't expect that we were going to follow them and do what he's asking us to do. So that, this is, and again, he says, you're just like me, you can do this. So, uh, I appreciate, that he, calls us out and, lets us know how much work we have to do, but also that he expects that we're going to do the work. And that, actually from doing the workbook lessons, even if we don't do them perfectly, the willingness to do them is the thing that's the most important. That's what it says in the introduction to the workbook. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to know what you're doing. You just have to do it. And by just doing it, that's what makes the change. That's what makes the shift. And so just, being grateful that we have this opportunity to make the shift, to be the shift, and to allow things to uh, grow through us, you know, um, allow ourselves to grow up. And that's it. Let's see. We have about 2 more minutes. I'm going to just read this last paragraph and before we close out and turn over to Wayne. And so the reason this course is simple is that truth is simple. Complexity is of the ego and is nothing more than the ego's attempt to obscure the obvious. You could live forever in the holy instant, beginning now and reaching to eternity, but for a very simple reason. Do not obscure the simplicity of this reason, for if you do, it will be only because you prefer not to recognize it and not to let it go. The simple reason, simply stated, is this: the holy instant is a time in which you receive and give perfect communication. This means, however, that it is a time in which your mind is open both to receive and give. It is the recognition that all minds are in communication. It therefore seeks to change nothing, but merely to accept everything. Everything. And he goes on and asks us some questions, and we're not going to even go into them. because I think that's all we need to know. Uh, and thank you, Mickey. Thank you, Mickey. Please go ahead.
I think that's a beautiful paragraph to end on. It really gives us the invitation to let go of littleness and step into what we need to step into. And I have to leave, Wayne, but I'll listen in.
I have to
Thank you
leave.
all so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye, you guys. I love you all.
Love you.